There's two observations I feel confident in sharing that I don't think are partisan, and that I think a majority of people across political affiliations, philosophical perspectives, ideological beliefs would probably agree with. And maybe because of that, they're absurdly obvious and understood, and I don't actually need to say them. But we think it's worth sharing why we came to the theme and how we think it carries an important message for our work now and into the future. So one, we are living in uncertain times. Came across, the Aztecs had a saying, the earth is slippery, slick. And in that message is contained a meaning of life is filled with uncertainty. It challenges us. That's a feature, not a defect. And sure, okay, we can accept that uncertainty will always be a part of life. But just when we thought the ground we stand on was as slippery as it could probably get, climate change, global pandemic, wars of aggression, artificial intelligence, upending our sense of what it is to be human, suddenly we find ourselves in a moment of our nation's history where the purpose and function of our federal government and its institutions are being questioned and changed in fundamental ways. Their reliability and effectiveness has been severely diminished in a startlingly short period of time. And so in the wake of this, states, communities, individuals are really trying to find their way. And as a result, there's some questions that are emerging. What do we do? What can we do? And what must we do out of necessity? These are not easy questions to answer. They carry gravity and urgency. But in our interactions and what we see with partners and member organizations and people working across the food system is the emergence of a response. Keep calm, collaborate on. We still have agency, strength, wisdom, and each other. And that brings me to the second observation, an element of our theme, and it's an observation I think, again, most would agree with. We are better together. I'd even go so far to contend that this is practically the unofficial motto of Vermont. Freedom and unity, better together. And it speaks to, I think it really speaks to who we are in the best of times, and who we are when the going gets tough. In Vermont, we look to one another. And better together is really what the next 2 days are about. Doubling down on our belief in the power of collaboration, understanding and focusing on what we have influence over, and seeing how the spheres of influence expand in collaboration, and leaning into how each of us has something to offer. And with that, we all stand to benefit from having help from others. And if you're curious, the Aztecs did have an optimism in response to the slippery earth. They believed that rather than putting the emphasis on the power of the individual, we should look to the power of family, friends, and rituals and routines we share in community to lead a better, more worthwhile existence. So virtue in their minds was not an individual endeavor, but a cooperative one. That is, we need one another to be and do good. And we really hope that message is apparent throughout your time here at the gathering. And we asked you what collaboration means to you, and I think your words reflect these observations. So a few things to share from your responses to questions we asked. We asked, what does collaboration mean to you? And what do you hope to gain from attending this year's gathering? And so there was an emphasis in your reflections on we rather than I, acknowledging that we all have an essential role, the dynamic of collaboration being joyful, but also putting us into spaces of discomfort. And that requires trust, commitment to equity and justice, active listening, and authentic in-person engagement, and embracing that it isn't a singular or linear path. There's emergence and diversity to what we're doing collectively. And what do you hope to gain from attending this gathering? I like this question because it surfaces some intangible things. Connection, learning, sharing, networking, deepening understanding, accelerating impact, and fun. These are all essential elements to sustaining collaboration, and I think we're set up well over the next 2 days to deliver on these hopes. All right, and finally, so over 75 of you answered the questions, what can you offer to others in collaboration, and what do you need to fully collaborate? And so from the responses, we created a needs and offer wall that's right outside of this room on a long sheet of paper. And it's a way to see who's here, what support people are looking for, and what each of us brings to the table. So we really encourage you to read those, add to that wall anytime today or tomorrow. There's sticky notes and pens to write. And so this is a great way to start a conversation, introduce yourself to someone you don't know. And as you'll see, it's already populated with a number of really wonderful needs and offers. And it was really inspiring to see these beforehand. And we're really grateful for those who took the time to respond with a lot of care and consideration. I think you'll see there's some really thoughtful offers and needs. And it really is inspiring to see that. So thank you. All right.